Hello, everyone. My name is Abraham Ramos, and I am happy to have the opportunity to present you today our research titled Evaluating Investment Risk in Latin American AI Startups, Ranking of Investment Potential and Framework for Valuation. The focus of this presentation today is to share insights into the investment potential of AI startups in Latin America and introduce a structured framework for their evaluation. This framework aims to guide investors in making informed decisions in this dynamic and emerging market. So, during this presentation, I will be talking about different topics that will make you understand why is Latin America a great region to invest in AI. And I will be also explaining our methodology and the ADAPT framework for AI startup evaluation taking Brazil as a case study. But first, I would like to give a small introduction to the authors of this investigation. First, we have Laura Montoya. She is the founder and managing partner of Accel Impact Organization. She is a lead on tech social impact and ethical AI development. And I, Abraham Ramos, originally from Venezuela, a public accounting student at the Central University of Venezuela with a huge interest in investment, social impact, and also technology. It is also important to note that this work was supported by the Accel AI Institute and produced on behalf of the LatinX in AI organization. So let's start with the background and significance of the AI in Latin America. So artificial intelligence is transforming industries globally, and Latin America is no exception to this. In the region, there is a growing number of AI startups driven by increased technological adoption and innovative solutions tailored to local needs. It is expected that AI can contribute to the real GDP of Latin American countries by 5.4% by the year 2030, which means approximately $0.5 trillion. In addition to this, the technology industry in Latin America has seen a substantial growth in recent years. In 2022, the total value of the tech industry in Latin America reached $517 billion, with a growth rate of 5.6% compared to the past year. The growth rate in this case is closely linked to entrepreneurial activities, as Latin American countries have some of the highest entrepreneurship rates in the world. For example, Panama, Chile, and Guatemala have 32% of their adults aged 18 to 64 engaged in early stage entrepreneurial activities, respectively. So the objective of this study implement a ranking potential for Latin American AI investment to gain insight into the current status of AI in each location alongside its advantage and its the disadvantage, and to create a practical framework for assessing the value of these startups. The ranking will serve as a risk assessment tool for each country in this case. Now, converting investability into valuation involves assessing how these factors impact the potential returns and risks associated with a startup. However, the valuation of a startup could be a challenge due to inherent complexities such as the non-existence of historical data, their dynamic environment, and the high levels of uncertainty, which are translated into risk. These unique characteristics make traditional valuation methods unsuitable for startup valuation, since there must be a comprehensive understanding of non-quantifiable factors that can help to measure the value across the potential demonstrated by a startup. These non-quantifiable variables include the reputational factors, the management team, the business idea, the human capital, the industry, the geographic location, the intellectual property, and other inherent risks. By incorporating these elements into traditional valuation methods, investors can better assess the potential and risk of the growing startup environment in Latin America, providing a more comprehensive and measurable valuation. So, To develop the ranking, we have Z-score normalize all values using the following formula. This formula was selected because it is less affected by outliers, which can skew the range and scaling of values in other methods. Additionally, all scores were calculated using this formula based on the media of Latin American countries' data. We have based our research and the ranking in three crucial pillars. These pillars are infrastructure, the education, and economics. In Latin America, the infrastructure pillars is a cornerstone for AI development, and in the region, these factors can vary significantly across countries, making the region attractive to investors due to the diverse opportunities for AI implementation. We have also the education pillar, which is measured by the quality of the education and the research status. In this case, it is crucial in nurturing talent in the AI field, and it is a vital component of AI investment readiness. And finally, we have the economic pillar, including the current AI implementation, the economic metrics, and also the cost of the investment. In this case, it must be carefully considered to ensure that AI investment can be financially feasible and can offer the expected returns. So, considering the three pillars studied to develop this ranking, some of the investability factors we have taken into consideration include the economic stability and growth, the technological infrastructure, the access to funding and venture capital, the regulatory environment, and also the skilled workforce and education. Now, let's start with some of the key factors studied, starting with the infrastructure pillar. So in this way, we can see how all countries studied demonstrated great basic infrastructure, reaching many of them the 100% of access to electricity. And most of the countries also reach between 55 to 70% access to the internet, which is a crucial factor to develop and implement artificial intelligence. Additionally, another important factor here is the cloud infrastructure available in Latin America. So we can see that countries like Brazil, Chile, Mexico, Colombia, and Ecuador are leading the cloud ecosystem in the region. Additionally, we have to take into consideration the HPC system distributions in the region because it provides the computational power and specialized hardware needed to support the training and the deployment of AI algorithms across different domains and applications. In this case, this metric is led by Brazil, Argentina, Mexico, and Costa Rica. Now, moving to the educational factors, we can see how Argentina is the only country in Latin America where its older population is more educated than its younger population. But this is not a bad factor because it allows Argentina older population to be more involved in the society and to contribute positively to the economy of the country. We also notice that the distribution of the top 100 universities in Latin America is led by Brazil, Chile, Mexico, Colombia, and Argentina. However, other Latin American countries also present great educational institutions like Uruguay, Venezuela, and Peru. When measuring the academic levels, we see that countries like Ecuador, Costa Rica, Uruguay, Peru, Venezuela, Cuba, and also Honduras increase their levels of research in the AI field. But these factors are not a coincidence. In the last graphic, we can see how patterns of good levels of education are linked to great research and development investment that is made in their respective territories, making them have a balance between the three pillars studied. So finally, when taking a look at the economic pillar, we see how some countries in the region already start to benefit from the investment received in the AI sector. In this case, in 2024, several countries already received more than $100 million in venture capital investments. Interestingly, countries that receive more investments are the countries with the lowest median salary for computer science roles. This indicates that the cost of investment and the cost of AI development are less, and therefore the attractiveness is greater. It is also important to note that the government plays an important role when it comes to AI potential and attractiveness, since it demonstrates regulatory framework and support to the sector. In this case, Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Mexico, Uruguay, Colombia, and Peru demonstrated that the government is already implementing an AI strategy and also promoting investment in emerging technologies in their respective countries. So these factors, other ones studied to develop the ranking, illustrate the current AI status in Latin America, indicating Brazil, Mexico, Chile, Argentina, and Colombia, the countries with less risk, being the more prepared to implement and to receive AI investments. This suggests that these countries have a great balance between their infrastructure, academic, and economic levels, which is needed to effectively incorporate AI into various sectors of their economies. Now, to incorporate this ranking into the evaluation framework for tech startups, we have implemented different methods in order to get a final estimated valuation for A startups in the food delivery industry in similar conditions for each country in Latin America. So we have calculated first the total addressable market and the total serviceable market to get an estimation of the serviceable obtainable market, which varies in each country depending on the risk, the competency, and other factors to get the real sum in the following 5 years. Then we calculated the revenue based on the 10% of the sum for the respective years, indicating at 25% of the cost of goods sold, which is the average for software as a service companies. Then we estimated the operating expenses in 30% of the cost of goods sold. And after reducing the taxes, which were calculated based on the mean of Latin American country for 2024, we got the net cash flow estimated for the period. After this, we used the discounted cash flows formula to calculate the present value of the estimated cash flow in the next 5 years, and also calculated the terminal value to finally get the total present value of the startup by summing the present value of the cash flows and the terminal value of the company. So we suggest that the higher the ranking position, the higher the country's risk level. This is due to the imbalance between the 3 pillars studied, placing these countries at a higher level of instability. So to quantify the risk and apply it to the DCF formula, we place the discount rate based on the ranking position. So we distributed this discounted rate as follows. So the countries rank from 1 to 3, the discounted cash flow was 35%. From 4 to 6, it was 38%. From 7 to 10, it was 40%. From 11 to 13, it was 42%. From 14 to 16, it was 45%. And from 17 to 19, it was 50%. So applying this methodology, let's take as an example Brazil. So after calculating the TAM and the SAM for a startup in the food delivery sector, we considered both quantifiable and non-quantifiable variables using a ranking. In this case, we get the sum and we estimate it for the next 5 years. According to our analysis, the service obtainable market of Brazil for the year 2025 was $16 million. Then applying the 10% of this serviceable obtainable market, we estimated the total revenue. And using the methodology I just mentioned before, we obtained a total present value for a startup in the food delivery industry, which obtained the 10% of the sum of $2.5 million. So applying this methodology To the country studied, our results show that Colombia, being an emerging power, has surpassed Brazil's estimation for a startup in the food delivery sector with similar conditions, with a present value of $2.65 million. The second emerging power in this case was Ecuador, with a valuation of $368,000. And we can also observe other results like Argentina with $131,000, the Dominican Republic with $113,000, Peru with the same valuation, and Costa Rica with $107,000. So, in conclusion, we have observed the huge potential of Latin American countries in the artificial intelligence field. Countries must ensure a balance between their infrastructure, educational, and economic levels to reduce investment risk. This methodology can also be adapted to different industries, allowing investors to make more informed decisions by adjusting the formula depending on the field they want to invest in. So that was all my presentation, and thank you for listening to me.